Welcome on into the October trading recap. It is October 31st. It is Tuesday. It's Halloween. Happy Halloween. We are now going to dive into this past month. Technically speaking, today we finished the day up $19.50. Woo! But that was just the last bit of my Tesla trade that I ended up locking in for a very small gain as Tesla started to come back up towards 200 and actually broke back up over 200, which was my trailing stop loss on the short. But that will do it right there. So here is the month. Here is my TradeZella dashboard. This is the month for October. There were some changes. There's some things I want to get into, and we're going to get into here in this video, and we're going to dive deeper into the data. So give that a second, but we can see here on the bottom is essentially the calendar. We had a total of 4 red days in here. We had 1 break-even day, and then the rest, well, there's a couple days of no trades, and then the rest were green. So pretty good in terms of that. Now, a couple things I do want to compare to. I want to go back the past couple of months and show you, how we compare, right? So here's October. If I go to last month, the month of September, we actually lost $308. If we were to go to the month of August, you would notice that we had lost $437. And then if you were to go to July, you will see that we were up to 62. And then if we were to go, we can keep going back, right, through all these months. I'll go back through May. June was 254. And then if you were to go to May 1st to 31st, was 669. So you can kind of see how things were going. I will say that May was a really good month for a couple of reasons, and I'll kind of dive into what I think it was. But I think it was that I just traded less. Really, that was what it was. I think May also aligned best with my strategy. And so that's what kind of led to that. But there is one big thing that's took place this month in October, which is like why it's drastically different in terms of results. Because the best month going back to May was $600 and almost $700, and now this month is almost double. Well, essentially, this is like a double. We doubled the best month. So why? Why did that happen? That's what I want to get into, and that's what's I think the most important piece to this trade recap, because no one's going to be able to copy what I do. I don't share every trade that I take. I have a strategy that I trade that when I see XYZ happen, I take a trade. So that's essentially what I do. And I think that anyone can create their own strategy, create their own system that you can approach the markets with. We're all going to have different months that are good for us and whatnot. But I'll hopefully be able to, well, you're just seeing like legitimately live into like my journey, if you want to call it a journey. I hate people call it journey. Yeah, follow my journey, whatever. But you're just kind of seeing a live look at what's. I'm just going to document all of it because A, it's great for me to go back to, and B, I think it could help people who watch it. So that's why we do it. But on the 10th of October, we made a switch, and that switch was we stopped trading options and we started trading shares or CFDs, essentially shares. So we end up going with a prop firm, and the prop firm is Surge Trader. By the way, I will, like I always do, I leave links to everything that I use, all the resources, TradeZella, where we track it all, the prop firm now that I use, and anything else, a Bookmap that I use pretty much all the time during the week. Anything that I use is linked down below in the video description box. But here's the Surge Trader prop firm update. So we're currently sitting at $51,000 roughly, 20% of the way to our target, roughly speaking. Now, back to TradeZella. We made that switch here. So we had some small wins, and we made that switch here. And then we had the bulk of the money was made post that switch for this month. Now, did that necessarily change the sizing of how I did things? So if you look at the day-by-day P&L, you'll notice that once I made the switch here on the 10th, we had some 1465 L, a 95 green, a 50 green, 190 green, okay, a 257 green, okay, but nothing crazy. Nothing like these are numbers that are, I think, fit pretty much right in line with where I was in prior months. We had more consistency this month. We had much more consistency in our average win-loss. So look at our average win-loss up in the top right, 1.6, meaning our average winner was $96 and our average loser was around $60. So to me, that is great. Now, to some, oh, that sucks. Like, again, it's all relative. It doesn't matter. Like you could look at someone and say, oh wow, they don't win a lot. They can't be. That's tough to be profitable. But they might have an average win loss of 3 consistently, right? So what it comes down to for me is I want to see a 1.5 would be awesome. A 1.25 minimum is kind of where I want to be for the average win-loss. If I can be at a 1.25 or better, in this case we were better, I'm super happy with that because I can be right half the time, and that's what you see. This month's P&L or a win percentage was a 50-50 pretty much. Now, inside of there's 65 total trades, really wasn't that many. There were some experimental trades that were very small winners, very small losers inside of like the first week that we were trading with the prop. So we had a day on Wednesday of 14 trades, a lot of like back and forths that just ended up kind of breaking even. And then the next day was 10. Realistically, there were like maybe two to three trades in there that I actually like legitimately should have taken. I was experimenting with sizing in, sizing out, then it was creating new orders, new trades, and technically logging them as new trades. And so it was kind of like a complicated mess. But so I, maybe take 20 trades off. We really only traded 45 trades, which I think is fine. Still probably on the high end. And I think that if you look at how we've been lately, that average will start to come down into next month. Maybe not, but it likely will if the conditions continue to play out the same way. So making that switch from options to now trading shares, I think has been massive because it opened the door for swings. So let's start diving in to some more of the details here. So let's jump over to the reports. I'm going to go through TradeZella recently updated this a bit. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to pop myself off the screen so we can kind of see on the report side, like how this all looks. Now, these are trades by day of week. And realistically, like you can see that Fridays, I kind of just chilled. There's less trades here. Monday, Tuesday, not really. Wednesday, Thursday, I kind of picked it up and had more trades. That was just the way things played out. But there's not a notable like, oh, wow, like you really suck on Fridays. Like it wasn't very clear here. So that was not something that is a glaring weakness or strength that I should be worrying about personally. Now, when we get down to trade time, here's where things get a bit more interesting. So time of day, for whatever reason, around midday, I was was not doing well. But it's not super clear because it's kind of spotty because the hour prior and the hour after, I actually had pretty good, results and performance. So noon, okay, something to log, but maybe not necessarily something that we need to just immediately jump ship on and say, no, we can never trade during the midday. Like not necessarily. Trade durations where I think it gets a bit more interesting. Check this out. So here's where I think this is going to start to play into the next piece of I guess the development and progression. So you'll notice that there was actually, technically two trades under a minute long. There must have been either mistakes, which back when I was testing things out, it may have just been like, oh, quickly got in, quickly got out, market buy, market sell, just to test it, see how the spreads work and whatnot. I will have a separate video really quick going over my thoughts on the Surge Trader audition phase, which we can go back quick. I'm 20% through the audition phase. So once I reach a $5,000 profit target, then I technically get funded, and then now I can just withdraw the profits if I want to, which would be the plan. That would be the plan. Ideally, in a perfect world, yes, on a 50K account. So back to TradeZella. Now, I'm going to make a separate video, like I said, going over the positives, negatives, all that stuff of Surge Trader, because I'm not necessarily affiliated with them. Like, I just happen to use them and they work for me, but there's a lot of prop firms out there. So you'll notice is that, we have the reds, and these tend to be trades that just hit our stop loss fairly fast. But we did see that there was a lot more in the 1 hour to 2 hour window. There was even some more in the 2 to 3 or 2 to 4. And then there was even some money made here in the 4 and over window. That starts to get into where I'm looking at the bigger picture charts, looking more swings. And that was kind of how I think, or that's kind of where I think we're going to kind of end up rolling into in the coming weeks. And I'll get into that here in a second. Volume traded, it's kind of weird because this is kind of playing off of contracts, options, and then now shares. So not necessarily the easiest to use. What do we see in terms of our top symbols? mRNA, AMD, Tesla, NVIDIA, Amazon, IWM, US 2000. So it's funny how, well, not funny, because I was in the past trading just options, it had the ticker symbol. But when you now move over to trading CFDs or shares via the prop firm, they spell out the stock for most of the tickers. So it's kind of weird. That's why we have Moderna, and that's why we have Tesla spelled out here, but then you also have Tesla with the ticker symbol there. And then US 2000 was me playing the Russell futures, but then there's IWM, which is the Russell 2000 ETF. So it's kind of weird, right? But it kind of all gets to the same place at the end of the day. Days till expiration, this is not something I need to worry about really anymore because I'm not really trading options anymore, but I did well, apparently, through all that, which I was playing 7 to 14 days, or 7 to 10 days-ish, roughly, days to expiration. R multiple, this is kind of somewhat tracked here. I haven't, it's tough because I don't like to track it this way. It's tough to let them auto track it this way because I need to make sure I'm entering in stops and take profits perfectly. And then it kind of gets all wonky if you move that stuff. And so these numbers, to be honest, I'm not really super concerned about. I'm more concerned, like we said before, about our average win-loss and our win rate. And it all kind of works out where the R multiple, yes, it's important and it's cool. Some people live and die by it, I guess, or swear by it. But to me, it's not necessarily something that I have to worry about. Don't worry about this either because now with the prop account, it kind of throws things off. Here we go, setups. So this past period, now not all the setups were necessarily tracked perfectly, but we can kind of get a good sense to see. Bear flags, I played 5. I played 10 bull flags. We actually ended up making less money. We were green across everything, but we made more money on bear flags with less trades because I think that was due to swings. That's the big piece. Mistakes, late entry, we had one mistake there that I'd logged. Other than that, it was a pretty good month in terms of following plans. Other was 2 system or inverse system. I took approximately 2 trades that were inverse of my strategy, which netted me $81, which is cool. And then approximately 15, probably more than that, 15, but 15 that I logged that were to my system, and that netted me 700 and something bucks. Not everything was perfectly logged. I think this is kind of like an experimental month in terms of tracking everything going back here because we made that switch from options to the prop firm and playing shares. I'm happy with that. I think we had a pretty good month. In my view, this was still not a month of like pushing pace, push that pedal, let's go. So this is why I'm at this like weird feeling about it, which I guess when you think about it, is really, it's good. It's not a bad thing. And maybe people feel like this, some people don't, I don't know. But the way I kind of feel about this month was we were able to make good money, I guess, relative to the past months without having to necessarily size up and risk a lot more. So that's good. But I just feel like we're just not there. Like we're close, but we're just not there. And I mean that by the way that the market has been behaving. which is fine. This is the reality, right? Like the market's not going to be the same all the time, or it's not going to align, as I say, with my strategy all the time. And I just have felt like when you look at the numbers and stuff, I guess it has aligned better this month with my strategy, but it just still hasn't felt like it really is. It's working as nice as maybe I had felt back in May when I was sizing a lot smaller back in May on those trades. Been netting me like $660, whatever it was, but I was sizing a lot smaller. I've slowly upped the size over time, and now I think I'm at a spot where I'm good. I could technically up the size further because realistically, and when I say up it further, just kind of nudge it up a little bit, because then I'll move this along faster to either hitting our target or getting, or failing the audition, right? One or the other is going to happen first. Ideally, we're not going to fail it, and we're going to kind of slowly move our way forward. So I'm not being pushed, so to speak. I don't feel a push, but now we've got drawdown limits, in the 48, 46K range, total max drawdown of just about 47,000. So as I move up, right, I can't get down under 47K, or else they can pull my account, right, or the challenge or whatever, and not give me a chance to continue. So that's kind of like where I'm at. I think I could size up a bit more, but I haven't felt like the market conditions are allowing for that. I really would like to play longs because I think that the upside we offer more upside on the long side of the breakout trade, but we just haven't been getting that opportunity. So it is what it is. I'm not going to force longs and dip buy shit that is not there, but I think that if we saw long setups into end of year, say a strong November, December, like that's seasonally what we get. If we get that, I think we can do very, very well. I don't see a reason why we can't do a $2,500 month and that be like that was a decent month where I feel like the strategy operated pretty well and we had a lot of opportunities, yada, yada, yada. But I will say that the 5-minute trade is like almost eliminated from my trading. Not that it has been bad necessarily. It's not like, oh my gosh, like this 5-minute setup is something that I will never trade again. No, it's just inside of the environment we have been seeing, we're getting a lot of this, right? Like overall, we're kind of trending down, right? But we're getting a lot of this back and forth. So we're getting a lot of fake breakdowns and whatnot on the shorter term time frames. But on the bigger time frames, 30-minute charts, 1-hour charts, 4-hour charts, daily charts, we're getting some good moves. If you can sit back and swing, set your risk, set your targets, and let it work. But then you've also got to kind of navigate now earnings season. So we're getting past that, which is good. We're going to get past that here with Apple and stuff this week. So we're going to get on the other side of that soon, which then offers now a couple months of less overnight risk. So it offers more swing opportunities. So we'll see. I'm feeling pretty good. But that is like this month's trade recap, trade update. Going forward to next month, I want to take less trades. Ideally, I would like to swing more. And then if we can do that, I think we'll be able to up the size just a nudge, just a little bit. So we're still dealing with a situation of 250 is my max loss. If I happen to be down 250 on a given day, I am done. But I haven't really had a problem of getting there for a while, since I guess last month. So it's been about a month since I had that. And I think a large part of that is because I'm not looking at taking 7 trades in a day on a 5-minute chart, right? It's like, kind of give me the big ideas. What of the stocks or charts I'm looking at, big ideas, like have the setup. If they have it, great. Then we're there for more of a swing or for more of kind of like, let this trade work. And it either works or it doesn't work on a 1-hour chart and whatnot, which means I have to give it time. And so it minimizes my ability to go back and say, okay, that didn't work quickly. Let's try this one. Oh, that didn't work. Try this one. And so I don't end up kind of getting myself into that max loss territory. That's kind of how it's been. So that's a good takeaway, I think, going forward. So there you guys have it. That is October's trade recap, finishing up $1,314.64. All logged here via TradeZelle. The first two weeks, week and a half, was options, and then the next couple were all on the prop firm account. Thanks so much. I'll leave links, resources to all the stuff down below, and I'll see you guys in November. Peace.